dropped out of school at just 15 and had to make a living doing hard labor to support his family. Because of poverty, he was looked down on everywhere he went, but no one could have imagined that this boy would one day become a billionaire whose name echoed across America. One day, a spoiled rich kid pulled up in a fancy car with a girl by his side. He honked impatiently, urging him to move, and both of them laughed loudly, mocking him without the slightest respect. They were about the same age. Why could that boy drive a luxury car and live in a mansion, while he had to deliver ice just to support his family? Frustration was written all over his face. Then his eyes caught a newspaper lying on the ground. It told the story of Andrew Carnegie, a self-made billionaire. Like him, Carnegie never went to school and started working at an early age. Yet through hard work, he rose to the top and built a fortune. The story lit a fire inside the boy. He swore to himself that one day he would become a tycoon, and those who looked down on him would have to bow their heads. His name was Red. After a long day of labor, he went home only to find leftover porridge waiting on the table. Dissatisfied, he complained to his father about eating the same thing every day. Without a word, his father simply swapped bowls with him and said the flavor had been changed. From the sickbed came the sound of his mother's cough. Her condition had worsened again. Red demanded to know why his father didn't buy medicine, but all he got was the same helpless reply. There was nothing he could do. Angry, Red slammed the newspaper down in front of him and declared that one day he would be a billionaire. He would buy the whole hospital and hire the best doctors to cure his mother. But his childish vow brought no encouragement. His father only said,
"You ain't ever gonna be rich. Only thing you're ever gonna be able to count on is coming up on the short end. That's what was handed me by my daddy, and I'm sorry, but that's all you're ever gonna get from me."
Looking at his younger brothers and sisters, Red said nothing more. In his heart, he gave up on his father and on this home. That night, he decided to run away. He believed the world outside was full of opportunities to make money. After quietly looking at his siblings sleeping soundly, he walked over to his mother's bedside. She supported his decision. She felt she had been holding him back, and her eyes were full of guilt and love. Red said goodbye, then reluctantly left the home where he had lived for years. At dawn, he appeared at the train station. With no money for a ticket, he planned to sneak on board. Just as he was about to climb onto the train, a pair of strong hands pulled him back. It was a man who also sneaked rides. He warned Red to wait until the train started moving, or he would be caught. When the train finally rolled forward, the man led Red in a sprint. With his help, Red leapt onto the train just in time. That courage and determination would follow him for the rest of his life. The train carried him all the way to Texas, a land that would mark the start of a new chapter in his life. There, he noticed a group of men heading to work and quickly followed them to a farm. The owner was hiring 6 workers to build a fence. 5 had already been chosen, and only 1 spot remained. Red desperately tried to prove himself.
Mister, hey, I'm your man. I can carry 50 pounds of ice up 3 stories.
The farmer laughed and was impressed by his spirit. He gave Red the job, but driving posts into the ground was grueling work. Red was small and weak. When he finally managed to hammer in a post, a co-worker knocked it over with one push. He became the target of ridicule.
Maybe Mr. Early can have you build him a rabbit fence next.
Unwilling to give up, Red kept working even while the others rested. One of the young men who had mocked him earlier saw his effort, brought him water, and the two became friends. That night, while others played cards, Red sat quietly writing in his journal. He knew what he wanted. He refused to end up like these men, working for pennies their whole lives. He was determined to earn real money. The next day, he boldly approached the farmer with a proposal. If he could finish the work ahead of schedule, could he keep the savings as a reward? The farmer chuckled and said,
"I do like you, son. Ain't gonna happen."
We'll see.
The following morning, Red was nowhere to be found. His co-workers thought the tough job had scared him off, but when they reached the site, they saw Red had worked all night. Not only that, he had come up with a faster method. Instead of everyone working separately, he divided them into 2 teams of 3, like a factory line. One measured and dug the holes, another placed the posts, and the third filled the dirt and strung the wire. This way, they could finish 3 times faster. The men gladly followed his lead. A job that usually took 3 days was done in just 1. The farmer, impressed, paid everyone and gave Red the bonus he had promised. He also told Red he'd call him first if new work came up. With his brains and determination, Red earned his very first fortune. He didn't waste it. The first thing he did was send money home to buy medicine for his mother. As he wondered what to do next, he noticed a man wearing a golden belt. Clearly, he was wealthy. Red rushed to ask him the secret of making money. Smiling proudly, the man told him Texas was full of riches, but Red wasn't looking deep enough. Red immediately guessed.
Am I right? Oil.
The man smiled, said nothing, and walked away, but that was all Red needed. On his way home, he couldn't stop thinking about how to get into the oil business. Then a beautiful girl appeared, pulling him out of his thoughts. Her name was Hannah, and from the moment their eyes met, they were drawn to each other. She invited him to a school dance. Too nervous to speak, he simply nodded. At the dance, dressed in new clothes, Red finally found the courage to talk. His first words stunned her.
I think I want to marry you.
It was love at first sight. Soon after, Hannah introduced him to her parents, and they even offered Red a place to stay. Their sweet romance had begun. Years passed. Red invested all his savings into drilling for oil, but every attempt brought up only dirt. The workers lost faith and quit. Even Red himself began to doubt. By then, he had married Hannah and bought a farm where they lived with their children, but his business failures weighed heavily on him. One day, after turning down his son's invitation to play, he sat exhausted on the couch. Hannah reminded him that family should come first, not endless oil wells or unpaid bank loans. Her words made him realize how much he owed them. Feeling guilty, he finally went outside to play ball with his son. It was then his son said something that shook him awake.
Can you teach me how to throw a curve?
I don't know how to throw a curve.
Well, someone's gotta know. What you call 'em?
An expert.
Red realized he needed an expert. He hired a specialist who quickly pinpointed the right spot. In exchange, Red promised him 3% of the profits if oil was found. This time, the gamble paid off. Oil gushed out of the ground, covered in black crude. Red ran home, and Hannah embraced him with tears of joy. At last, years of struggle had paid off. The poor boy had become a millionaire overnight. That oil field held 50 million barrels. At $2 a barrel, his wealth shot into the hundreds of millions. Just as he was celebrating, the man who had sold him the land sued him, demanding a share. Red knew he needed a lawyer, so he went straight to a phone booth and called the top graduate of Harvard Law. The trial began, and Red walked in confidently. Alone, the farmer sneered, thinking Red had no one to defend him. But then the lawyer arrived and whispered a shocking secret in Red's ear, a secret that could change his life forever. Want to know what happened next? Follow me. I'll bring you the rest of the story soon.